Hello Gemini, and welcome to your reading today. My name is Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for Geminis that are Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising and Cusp Gemini. If you don't know where those placements are Gemini, there will be a free link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out for yourselves. If you don't know what your chart is, all you need is your time of birth, your date of birth and your place of birth, and you'll be able to get your own free natal chart, which helps to give a bigger picture as well, because then once you know where certain planets are, you can go and look at the other tarot readings that may link in with your story as well. So your moon and your rising and your Venus. And for cusp Geminis, you're going to be at the 0 degree point of Gemini coming out the Taurus energy, and the other end is the 29 degree point of Gemini moving into the Cancer energy. So if you're either end of those, you may also want to check out the reading before yours and after yours. The before reading will be going up very soon. I think maybe I've actually already put the Taurus general reading out there. So this is a general reading. It's not going to resonate with everybody out there. So if it doesn't resonate for you, then look in your moon, your Venus and your rising, etc., to see if the story is there for you or if it will make more sense for you. Also, cross watchers, if you're watching this for somebody you have been or are or wanting to be in a relationship with, then just bear in mind that the actual storyline can be your own, that you're listening to and hearing. It may not actually be the person that you're listening for. So I'm starting the reading off today with two cards, because you Gemini got two cards fall out. One fell out and then the other kind of very quickly followed it. And they're both interestingly bird cards as well. So I always kind of represent birds with air and freedom, very much a Gemini kind of thing as well. So I thought, well, that's quite fitting. Also Gemini being the sign of duality, two sides. So you have two cards from the Spirit Oracle Animal deck. The cards are laid out themselves in 3 rows of 3. So first row represents the past. It can be the recent past, way back in your childhood or something a few years back. Whatever energy is still affecting you now, whatever is in play in your life that is still affecting you. So, and then the middle line is the present energy, which is going to lead into the future energy as well. So it's the past creating the present, which is going to create the future energy to come, or it can do. Of course, you do have the ability to change that if you have more understanding of the kind of bigger picture, shall we say. So also, before I forget, please could you thumbs up my video for those of you who get to the end of the tarot reading and just switch off before I get around to saying all the blurb that I normally would say. Please thumbs it up for me and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. That would be absolutely wonderful as well. And thank you very much to those of you who have already liked my videos and have already subscribed. I do appreciate you being here. So first card from the Spirit Animal Oracle is the Nightingale, and it says love is all around. But interestingly, what was coming through for me with the Nightingale card today is the fact that it's a bird that sings at night. So it sings in the dark. So it's kind of a hidden energy, and it kind of is representing this side of yourself, because the words that came through for me today as well while I was doing this meditation was crossing the bridge. So I don't know if that's physically crossing a bridge or mentally, emotionally, physically, something that you're trying to get over. But it was crossing a bridge, like you're crossing over something, you're going from one side of something to the other. So it's like, for me, that always kind of represents leaving that past energy and moving into a future energy, is how I always see a bridge or a gateway or an archway, anything like that. So so yeah, the Nightingale sings at night, kind of hides itself in the shadows is kind of what's coming through, because you also have the peacock spirit, which is interesting because it's saying love is all around and let it shine. So they go really well together for me, which was one of the reasons that I decided to take them both as well, because the peacock spirit is saying express yourself. If you see here, he's got this kind of energy coming out of the throat chakra. So if there's something that you're needing to communicate here, it feels as though the nightingale is saying, like, say it with love, like express how you're feeling, but say it with love, say it. And maybe that's got something to do with crossing this bridge as well, is that you're holding back on something. There's something that you're kind of hiding yourself in the shadows, out of sight, out of the limelight for some of you. But the peacock spirit is very much about showing itself. It's very much about, you know, this is me, I'm beautiful, look how incredible I am, look what I can do. And it also encourages other people as well. There's also something about dance in this in this card as well, like dancing your fears away, dancing your like really putting yourself out there is what's coming across here today, Gemini. Maybe that's the bridge that you're having to cross. Maybe there's a fear element here also, like because of the nightingale, keeping yourself in the dark. Maybe you don't want to be seen, but this is saying, you know, put yourself forward. It could be a job, it could be anything, but that's what's coming through. So the first card that I have here is the 10 of Cups, and it's in the upright. So this is saying that there has been a wonderful kind of, feels to me like a very strong emotional grounding of family, of a lot of love, like brought up in a family that had a lot of love within it. And a family that was not afraid to express that love as well and to show that love. Very open, very caring, very honest with each other. And it also feels like it was very much the focus of attention was the family. It was very much the kind of, it was all about the family, all about the family. Is what's coming through here. But after that we get the 4 of Coins. And the energy that I'm going through for this is almost like it was, although it was a very loving family, and although it was very much the focus of attention, there was also this sense of almost like ownership, almost like you're part of the family, so therefore you have to do as we tell you, you have to, like, you know, for almost like traditional, a sense of a traditional, something that you have to kind of follow on with, follow through with. The 4 of Pentacles can be very much about holding on to something, holding on to, and it feels like it's a tradition, like these 4 coins here in this box, and he's got this key around his neck, so it's like ownership. It's like he's saying, like, you know, these are mine. It could just be a very, very protective energy that somebody wanted to kind of, because there was so much love, it could just be that somebody was wanting to just protect, but it was overly protective, it was too much, it was too intense, it wasn't allowed to give you freedom for you to learn, make mistakes, grow in your own time. It was almost like everything was, and I don't want to use the word engineered as such or manipulated, but it was like worked out. There was no kind of freedom of choice. Like all the decisions were made for you, rather than you actually being able to make your own decisions, is what I'm getting here. Because we also have, after the 4, we have the 6 of coins in reverse. Just wanted to check and make sure it was the 6, but it is the 6, which is all about give and take. It's all about equilibrium. It's all about that kind of, you know, you put in as much as you take out kind of energy, or you take out as much as you put in. You keep, it's like keeping that balance, that kind of, and it feels again like this family dynamic, but something was not in balance. There's a sense of somebody having more say or more control over the situation than everybody else. And this is coming through as a very strong energy as well. Somebody with like really strong determination. Somebody who you didn't kind of mess about with. You didn't cross them. You didn't... Not that they were... not that they were violent, or it was just almost like an unspoken respect. It could also have been as well that somebody used their resources, like they may have used it in a sense of like, you know, if you behave yourself, if you do this, if you do what we want you to do, like rewarding you in a way. But it was also, I suppose in a way, it was also manipulation. But at the time you didn't realise that that's what was happening. It just was kind of, that was just how it was. But there was an imbalance there. And again, this can be to do with energy as well. It can be somebody putting in more energy than somebody else. It's not necessarily always about money, because the coins represent very much the kind of physical domain, and it can also represent the energy, the value of something. And I feel that that could have been part of the problem as well here. The issue was that possibly all your needs were kind of taken care of, and you didn't really understand the value, because you weren't, and as wonderful as that sounds on some level, it kind of left this imbalance within you of kind of the real world and how it really works. And the 8 of Swords is the first card in your present energy, which is saying, in reverse as well, it is that kind of energy of feeling as though you're trapped, you're in this kind of bubble, you're kind of, you feel as though you're not able to escape this it just feels like a very subtle, it doesn't feel like it's, again, it doesn't feel like it's how can I put it, like, it wasn't violent, it wasn't angry as such, it was just very kind of subtle manipulation in a way of like, and that's kind of how I feel where you're at this time. It's almost like you realise that it's trapped you. You're in this bubble. You don't know what to do. You're trapped in this kind of ongoing way of thinking, way of behaving, way of acting. It's almost like seeing through something as well. It's like you've kind of seen through with these swords in the background here. They're kind of fading. So you're kind of realising, you're seeing through it, but there's still these 4 swords in the front there which are still kind of piercing this bubble, but I feel as though I'm kind of representing these 4 coins in a way. It's the same kind of, it's like this, like a self-imposed prison, but it's a self-imposed prison from something that has been kind of conditioned into you. And it feels like these 4 swords are almost like the hooks that this person or the family have on you. Because there's a lot of love there. There is a lot of love in this situation. So it's very difficult to break free from it. Because you don't want to disappoint, you don't want to upset. But at the same time, you feel as though you need that freedom, you need to break free. The very center of your reading, and I always see the center card as being the kind of major energy. It's the energy where it's emanating out of, and the energy is kind of going into at the same time. And we have the 4 of swords here. I'm looking at these 3 swords down here. So again, you've got these 4 swords, as I was saying here. These 4 swords that are kind of, and you're trying here to take a backward step. It's almost like you're trying to it feels like trying to protect yourself, which is again this kind of bubble energy as well. You're trying to protect yourself from what's coming in. So it feels like these 4 swords at the back are the 4 swords in this. So you've kind of worked through certain issues here, and you're managing to kind of take a break from it, because it's kind of driving you a bit mad, it feels like, because the 8, it's a difficult energy, the 8, because it's an energy of where you kind of realize something but you don't know how to express it. Maybe that's also what the Nightingale spirit is saying here. Also, maybe that's the issue, is that you feel as though you're being like restrained, like you can't be yourself, you're not allowed to be yourself. You've been brought up in a certain way and you don't want to upset this dynamic. But it's like these swords here are becoming more and more, it feels more like a prison, like they're bars on a prison cell, so to speak. And we also have a card here that is only found in this particular deck. There's 4 of them, 1 for each of the suits. And this is the Palace of Wands. So the Palace of Wands is a very creative energy, and because it's in reverse, it feels as though you're holding back on that creative energy, which is what I think this is talking about here. There is something that is being held back on here, something that is being, you're not fully expressing who you are. The real you hasn't been allowed to come out and show itself. And that's what the Palace of Wands is saying for me as well, because Wands is all about creative energy, drive, passion. It feels very much as though it's kind of you feeling exhausted, possibly. Like you don't have the fight, you don't have the energy to keep on fighting this particular scenario. You feel as though you can't keep giving your energy to it. But in the future energy, we have this Ace of Swords here. So for me, this is kind of saying that it is time for you to speak up. It's almost like you going into this meditative, kind of more contemplative, more kind of taking a step back from the situation, because it's wearing you out. It is exhausting. It's like looking for a retreat, looking for a way to step outside of the mind games in a way. And the Ace of Swords here represents, I would say this is representation of kind of Archangel Michael, who's very much to do with the truth, seeing clearly, clarity, a new, again, communication. I feel as though this is you kind of breaking free from this. Breaking out of this dynamic, freeing yourself, actually kind of, you know, speaking your truth and doing it in this kind of loving, open, honest, expressive way. Because something needs to, because this leads into the Tower, which I feel could be one of the things that you fear as well, because there can be fear element within the Four of, and especially with the Eight as well, with the Eight and the Four of Swords together. You could be thinking all of the things that could possibly take place, and that's what's also keeping you trapped in this bubble, is all the kind of scenarios. What is the worst thing that could happen if I do this? And that kind of sends you back into this place and keeps you kind of subdued, not expressing yourself, keeping that creative place that is you in a way, Gemini. It is your kind of I know it's a fire, but it's like Gemini has a lot of creative vision, and creative vision involves fire energy, you know, to bring passion into it and to kind of drive it forward. So this Ace of Swords here is going to bring on this Tower energy, which I do feel is something, I was saying, something that you're reluctant, even though it's upright. I still feel as though you're it's something that you are worried about doing, but it's necessary. It's like the Ace of Swords is kind of saying it's necessary. You have to do this. You have to bring this Tower down. And the Tower is like all the conditioning, all the traditional kind of structures, things that we convince ourselves is the way we should do things, or the way that we have been convinced that we should do things. I always see the Tower as something that we build up around ourselves, like the structure, the belief systems, the conditioning, the things we can do, the things we can't do, why we should, why we shouldn't. It's all those kind of like brick by brick by brick, we kind of block ourselves in, and the Tower is this moment of kind of breaking it loose, breaking free, it's a breakthrough, breaking out energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going to be taken away and everything, you're going to lose everything, although often the Tower will do that purely because you have to build back up again from a totally different energy. It's like your energy has changed. It's like you're no longer this person here that's kind of cowering down, living in fear. It's like something brings on this this truth, this kind of realization, this seeing things as they truly are. And when that happens, so does the Tower. And this is the future energy. And the Lovers is the last card here, but it is in reverse. And because this is a general reading, I'm not going to read this as a Lover's card. I see this more as a decision that needs to be made here from this Tower energy coming down, because the Lovers card talks about normally like the person who we choose to have a relationship with is an outer reflection of our own inner belief system. What do we deserve? Do we deserve this type of love? Do we deserve that type of love? Do we deserve to be taken care of and looked after? And, you know, it's all about the self-belief. And that's on a deep subconscious level, so we may not even know that we're doing it when we're doing it. Because the subconscious works all the time, even if we're not aware of it. So that's how I feel that this card is here. It's something to do with the choices that you're going to make. And though it's in reverse, it doesn't mean that you're going to make bad choices, but there is a potential here, shall we say, for you to kind of because it's coming after the Tower, so there is, I feel as though there's a potential for the want to shock, or like going to an extreme, to another extreme from where you've been to the other extreme. So just be aware of that, Gemini, the kind of like possibility for you to believe something that isn't necessarily true about yourself here and what you're going to attract to you. But we'll see. We also have at the bottom of the deck here, we have the High Priestess. So this is about the subconscious. This is about going deep into your own knowing, coming from a place of intuition, insight, understanding, learning about yourself. It says on this card here as well, interestingly, it says darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery. But the Nightingale spirit is kind of saying, like, you know, sing in the darkness, come out of the darkness and show your light, show yourself. But at the same time, this High Priestess energy is talking about going into your deeper subconscious, your inner knowing, listening to that inner voice that you may not have been brought up to recognize. But this is the voice that is kind of there, kind of, this is what's driving you in the sense of like wanting you to break free, to break out of this, to find yourself, to find who you truly are. This Tower could also have something to do with crossing the bridge, as I was speaking about earlier, the words that came through with crossing the bridge. It could be this Tower bringing something down on, as I was saying, like the past energy, that you have to cross over that bridge to get to the new, to get to something different. It may be that there is somebody in your life, a partner, who's kind of waiting on the outskirts or something. Maybe somebody who's not accepted by the family as well. It could have something to do with that. could have something to do with, like, for you, you want to be with this person, you want to have a relationship with this person. But it could be that the family is absolutely dead set against it, and they're trying to manipulate you out of being in that relationship. But you, up until now, you've kind of always been kind of dutiful and done what you've been asked to do, because it is a very loving family. But this feeling for this person could drive you to make some waves, bring down some towers, literally, because of the truth, which you're going to discover. So let's see what the Ten of Cups is saying here. What is the energy around the Ten of Cups for Gemini, please? Sun, Moon, Venus, rising and cusp energy of Gemini. What is the energy around the Ten of Cups for Gemini? Queen of Swords, Two of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles in the upright. So the Queen of Swords is in reverse. And this could be somebody within the family dynamic. This could be either male or female. Just because it's coming through as a queen doesn't mean it necessarily has to be a female that it's talking about. It's talking about the energy of that female dynamic. And here it feels as though this is a queen who's very it feels to me as though, if you see, it's like this beast is being tamed. It's like something's being wrapped around his beak and he's being tamed. He's being quietened is the word that's coming through. He's being like not allowed to speak his mind, speak his voice, speak his truth. So this could be this person here as well, as I was saying, because it feels as though there's a strong character, a strong energy there. Again, it can be either male or female, but somebody was very I don't want to say overbearing, but that is the kind of energy. It feels like kind of this powerful energy. And it feels like they were always right. With the Queen of Swords and the Two of Swords. But again, I get this feeling with the Eight of Pentacles there. I get the feeling that it was still a very what's the word, like nurturing. There was a strong nurturing element here as well, though. The whole family was very much like looked after, taken care of, needs were met. There was never a lack of anything. It doesn't feel like there was a lack of anything. But at the same time, there was this kind of, it feels like this kind of, like you did as you were told type of energy. You didn't speak out of term or out of line. It's feeling like a very traditional family is what's coming through. Very traditional. A family who kind of follows very strong traditional beliefs. A family also that wanted the best for you. They wanted the best for you. It wasn't that they didn't want the best for you, because they did. Totally wanted the best for you. And they thought they were doing the right thing as well. But over the top we have the Knight of Swords here. So I also get the feeling that this person was quite fearless. Again, quite protective. There was somebody who was very protective. They would fight off any, particularly if I'm talking to any female Geminis out there as well. I feel that this person was very, very protective towards you. That you were very much yeah, just like protected, like surrounded with this protection. To the point where you, again, it's that feeling of like not being able to do your own thing, or like everything was decided for you. All the decisions were made for you. That's, I think, what that two of Swords there is saying as well. Like all these decisions were made for you. And this person, I feel as well, the Knight of Swords, they could be very quick to jump to your defence as well. If they felt that you were being like if somebody was speaking badly about you, or if you were unhappy about something in the outer world. It's almost like they wanted to completely, it just feels like complete protection, like they didn't want anything to hurt you or harm you or upset you, or and they would take it very much to heart, and they would take it very much as if it was them. Again, particularly if you were a little girl, a Gemini girl, I'm getting quite strongly. But boys as well. You could have been an only child for some of you. Some of you Geminis could have been an only child, so you were very kind of precious in a way, it feels like. It feels like this person wanted to kind of wrap you up in cotton wool and kind of totally keep you from any harm from the outside world. And it does feel like this is more of a family figure. Somebody from your family. Either a mother or a father figure. Could have been both. But they were very, what's the word I'm looking for here? They were very, like the two of them were very, brain's gone dead, very supportive with each other. Like whatever one thought, the other would go along with it. It was always like talked through, and things were always kind of decided together. But there was a lot of support with both of your parents for what they both believed, and they were very similar as well, quite possibly, in their beliefs. Because we also have the Four of Pentacles come out again, in reverse this time. So again, if you see here, it's in reverse, but if you see here, he's holding one of these pentacles really tightly. He's got his feet on the other two, and he's got one on his head. So there is this kind of feeling, and it's over the top of the Six of Pentacles as well, which felt like that imbalance, like somebody... this card to me feels more like you not being able to... like you felt like you were outside, even though there was so much love, it's like you felt as though you weren't kind of involved. It all happened around you somehow. And that's what I'm feeling with this Four of Pentacles here as well, that it was very much like everything was decided without your consent or your agreement on things. Very strong sense of wanting to keep things within a kind of traditional, again, that traditional family idea is coming through. The status quo, not wanting to upset the apple carts or upset the balance, but it actually did upset the balance more than not so. Because it kind of feels as though you felt possibly that your opinion wasn't valued, it didn't matter what you thought about something. And we also have Temperance over the top of the Eight of Swords here as well. So Temperance again is about that kind of equality, about equal flow between two energies. And this is where the energy where you're at this time, this is your present energy. So is Temperance over the top here. This could have something to do with this dynamic with your parents as well. And the fact, again, I get the fact that they were so very similar. But for you, that was almost, again, it was like, they were very close with each other. I'm not saying that they weren't close with you as well, but you felt as though you didn't have somebody on your side, maybe, here. You couldn't go to one parent and voice how you felt, because you knew that that it wasn't going to make any difference, that they were like both very staunch, very strongly in their opinions on things. So you could well kind of put yourself into this bubble, this kind of like detaching yourself here as well. Or very much gone into your own head. And I also feel as well that it kind of has made you not want to have that kind of connection, not want to have that same, to not do the same thing as what you've been brought up with, not to have that relationship, to have something very different, something that's much more open and much more free and much more like yeah, just this kind of general sense of needing that freedom emotionally. So it all feels a bit overwhelming. To you, Gemini, there's like this sense of like that's just too intense. It's too intense is what's coming through here. You want a relationship with somebody who you, maybe even somebody who's not there all the time as well. Maybe that's also something that you would feel happier with, is having a partner who isn't always around. Possibly having your own space even. So we've got the Four of Swords over the top of the Four of Swords. Very interesting, in the very middle. So you really are kind of looking at something on a deeper level here. This is like similar to this energy here, kind of going down into the kind of, it's a non-action energy, so it's an energy of like thinking things through, taking a backward step, not taking any action at this time. And you've got that twice. And so the Four of Swords kind of brings up the Eight of Swords energy again as well, because you've got it twice here. And in this card, he's like on his knees, and he kind of doesn't really know what to do next. And because it's in reverse, I feel as though it's, again, it's that kind of being trapped in that kind of bubble energy, but also with all this kind of swirling around, which I feel is also this energy here, this overwhelm. It's like an overwhelm of something. And you kind of want to find some peace from it all. And also kind of want it to make sense. You want it to kind of have some logic behind it, possibly some making sense of it. So with two Four of Swords energies, that's quite intense. That is intense energy. So a lot of stuff kind of swirling around in your head at this time, Gemini, which is very much a kind of logical place for a Gemini to be. A lot of stuff. I will just say as well that Mars, I believe, is still in Gemini at this time. Yeah, I'm sure he is. And he's out of bounds as well. So when Mars goes out of bounds, it means that he's not answering to anybody. He wants to do his own thing. He doesn't want anybody telling him what to do. And if they do tell him what to do, he's not going to take any notice. He's just going to do what he wants. And Mars is our inner drive. It's our passion. It's our movement forward. It's our, literally our action, doing energy. So we have quite a few cards here. Interesting. We have the King of Swords. Earlier we had the Queen as well. King here is upright. And he's standing over this nest. And again here with this Knight of Swords energy that we had here, where he's kind of fighting off all these beasts. It's like, I still feel with this Palace of Wands, which this is over, which is your, I feel this is your energy, which is kind of depleted at the moment. You're not feeling as though you've got any creative drive, or you're feeling worn out, possibly, maybe from having to keep everything in as well. If you're not expressing, if it's just going round and round in your head all the time, then there's quite possibly an energy here where you feel as though you're kind of like ready to give in even. And it's interesting because there's butterflies on the Palace of Wands card here, and there's butterflies in this card here as well. So I feel as though, again, we've got this Ace of Swords here. So although I feel as though you are kind of in a place of like overwhelm and intensity and just feeling exhausted, but at the same time, there is this transformation. I mean, butterflies are about transformation, and there's also a fragility here as well. It's kind of seeing through it, as maybe kind of realizing that you don't have to stay trapped in that bubble. I feel as though this is you taking back your power as well, taking back your power, taking back your voice, because it's come out upright, and it is a very strong, powerful image and a strong, powerful card. I mean, that literally is the sword here, but it's also an angel at the same time. And communication, for me, this looks like Archangel Michael, who is all about truth and openness and honesty. And the sword, of course, can also be used to cut through things that are no longer working in your life. Things like the old you. So the King of Swords, the Death card in reverse. So there again, the transformation, but it's a transformation that may be taking a long time to take place. The High Priestess again, so it's saying listen to that inner knowing and that inner voice. The Six of Chalices, which talks about, it can talk about a romance and a partner, but it can also talk about looking back on the past, because she's looking back at something. So this could be to do with looking back on the situation of your life in a kind of emotional, like going into a deeper place. Because we have the Ace of Cups that comes out with this after that as well. So there is this deep transformation that's taking place. And the High Priestess energy. It's interesting because there's always a pomegranate in the High Priestess energy. I don't know if there is in that one, but in most of them you will find the pomegranate because of this one seed that Persephone ate when she went down into the underworld, or when she was taken by Hades down into the underworld, which is where the High Priestess comes from. The moon in the background there as well is saying, you know, listen to that intuition, that inner knowing. Pomegranates reflected in the water as well. The water being emotions and kind of psychic ability as well. It could also be you kind of awakening to something here within yourself, awakening to a deeper connection to something, finding something that you're going to fall in love with. Falling, because the Ace of Cups here for me is about falling in love with it's like falling in love with yourself, falling in love with life, falling in love with, or being in love. It's like that recognition within yourself, that wellspring that is coming back. It feels as though it's coming back to life here. And also remembering the happy times as well with the Six of Chalices. It can often be a card of like melancholy, especially when it's upside down, like melancholic kind of, like I can't change what's happened, I cannot change the past. That was my past, that was my childhood, it was what it was, it is what it is, but that doesn't mean that I have to remain in the same energy, that I can change that. I have the ability to change that, to move on from that, and to bring out this love, this wellspring of joy and happiness. And also to recognize that there was this deep sense of, like, wherever it came from, whatever the initial situation or the initial reason behind why this was done. It was done with love. It was done from a place of love. It wasn't done from a place of wanting to hurt or destroy, or although it may feel like that, behind it all there was this deep, deep sense of love. And I feel that you're going to kind of come to terms with that, Gemini. You're going to wake up to that and see that for what it truly is. And that's going to also going to spark this kind of realization, this truth, this understanding about something that up till now you've kind of not been able to see where it's coming from. And with the Ace of Swords here, we have the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is saying to me, like, it's almost time. You're almost there. You're almost at the end of this journey, of this particular creative cycle. Because the Nine is often about kind of battling through things. Often you can see the Nine, the vision of the Nine, but here he's kind of covered in flowers, and I feel as though this is like you kind of picking up this wand after this energy here, and you kind of suddenly realizing that there's a lot of nurturing here. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of creative potential. But it could also be with this energy here, this sword here, it could also be you kind of, what's coming through here is you kind of feeling lost amongst this kind of like too much, like overwhelm again. Like if you see here, it's like this, it's like, do I need all of this still? So it's like going out almost like pruning the garden in a way, like, you know, chopping down an overgrown garden that's like gone wild, like the wildness of all of this. So you're kind of not able to see, literally you can't see the wood for the trees because it's so kind of cluttered, and so it's like saying, remove all of this clutter, remove all of this clutter, and you'll be able to see things clearer. You'll have a clearer vision, a broader, expansive idea and picture. And when you do so, it's like something will be illuminated from beneath it all or behind it all. There's something kind of waiting. Waiting to be discovered. And you have the Knight of Wands here as well. So there's a lot of fire energy, a lot of fire energy, a lot of creative fire energy. You could be dealing with a fire sign. Quite a few different signs you could be dealing with. You could be dealing with a fire sign, you could be dealing with a Leo, an Aries, a Sagittarius. Or it's an energy that you are carrying yourself at this time, Gemini, just this kind of really wanting to see things like with the bigger picture, wanting to understand things, wanting to... You know, this Knight of Wands, he's kind of... it's in reverse, but I still feel as though it's like it feels like a shocking... Like if you look at that card, he's like wrapped up in all this kind of... For me, it feels like, you know, like this electrical charge, like something has charged this energy up. It's like there's a sudden kind of... like a connection, like suddenly like seeing, cutting through all of this stuff, and as I was saying, like something is sitting there waiting, and you kind of find this, but it's almost, again, a lot of intensity. It's almost like too intense. It's like, now what do you do with it? It's almost like it's consuming you. It's like coming, it feels like coming alive somehow. It feels like there's an energy of coming back to life, being brought back to life, something kind of charging you up here. But at the same time, you maybe being fearful of this energy, again, because we have the Tower energy after this. So this could well be what kind of brings this in, is this like sudden realization of all this truth and discovery, and knowing that there's more. Knight of Wands is an energy of like sometimes believing that things are better on the other side of the fence, like literally like the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, and then kind of getting to the other side of the fence and realizing, well, actually no, it wasn't any better over here. But you've kind of wrapped yourself up in that belief system, or almost like you've kind of, you can't go back. Maybe that's something to do with crossing the bridge as well. You can't go back. Once you've kind of gone over that fence, you can't go back. The only way you can go is forward. But it feels as though at this time you're kind of, you feel as though you're stuck. That's what's coming through here. You feel as though you're stuck. You're going to feel in this sense of like, okay, I've done all this, but now I'm stuck. Now I don't know how to deal with this energy that I've kind of unleashed within myself, this kind of awakening that's happened within yourself, Gemini. You're kind of stuck within it and you don't know what to do with it. And I feel as though that's what's also going to bring in this, okay, yeah, because this is it's what I was saying, this kind of charged electric energy here is this kind of whiplash here. This is going to bring in that tower moment. Is this kind of no longer wanting to be stuck in that same place. You've got all this energy and now you need to kind of do something with it. So, why is the tower here for Gemini? What is this tower all about for Gemini? The Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising and Cusp energy for Gemini. Why is this tower here? Sorry about that noise. I don't know if you can hear that on the video, whether or not it's come out on the video. It's something that's happening outside. I have no idea what it is. It sounds really loud to me, so it might well be coming through on the video. If it is, I am very sorry. Not a lot I can do about it, I'm afraid. Hopefully it's not coming through. So, the tower moment for Gemini. The tower moment for Gemini. What is Gemini going to experience? What is being revealed? It does feel as though you are bringing this tower down though, Gemini. Almost like you've had enough, almost like you're fed up with it all. Almost like you're kind of like releasing something, releasing a lot of pent-up energy, maybe a lot of pent-up, like a breakthrough of something from that you've carried with you for a long time. Maybe that could also be what it is, this kind of release of some energy, something that you've carried, like I was saying, because the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Wands can be about carrying all these burdens as well. We have the Nine of Chalices in reverse. Which is interesting because the Nine of Chalices is all about kind of your hopes, your dreams, your desires, and it's in reverse. So what it's saying to me is that this has all been stifled. Like all of your hopes and dreams and desires, and it's like you've lived other people's hopes and dreams and desires. That's how it feels. It feels like you've done everything for everybody else. You've lived their dreams, you've lived their hopes, their desires, and it's like this time it feels like actually this time you're determined that this is going to be about your dreams, your desires, your realizations, your life, your passions, rather than other people's, which is what you've done up to now. Kind of keeping everybody else happy is kind of how it feels. Allowing others to kind of live through you, live your life for them. Is what I'm getting from that card. Which again, if we go back to the family dynamic, could make a lot of sense. It could be that's what you've kind of done in that sense of being the dutiful son or daughter. But it feels now that you're very much like crossing that bridge, literally, like you're ready to make your own decisions here. I'm sure I had a card. Yep. Okay, so we have the Chariot in reverse. So you are ready to make those decisions, but at the same time, you're wanting to move forward. But again, it's that feeling of being stuck. Or it could also be that for some of you, it could be that there is a situation where literally like your chariot, your car won't start. There's something that like it's something, it feels like it's something that's going to hold you back from being able to leave or make a sudden move somewhere to do something, possibly something that you may regret later as well, because you could well be in this kind of energy of like, you know, I don't give a damn, I'm going to just do what I want to do, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. But in doing that, you're kind of coming from this place of how can I put it? Coming from this place of feels like unrest, of kind of not being settled in something, not being like not listening to your inner voice, not picking up on the kind of subtle nuances, because the Chariot often depicts two horses and there's like two extreme energies with the Chariot, which is kind of shown in this car with the kind of headlights. It's kind of, and it's raining and obviously it's stormy, it doesn't look like a good time to be driving, or so there could be some elements of that as well, that there's this like saying that it's going to be a stormy ride ahead, but if you do make these decisions for yourself, it's not going to be plain sailing. You know, you've got to be prepared to take the rough with the smooth. There's going to be tricky, difficult moments and times where you may feel that you've taken the wrong turning, or basically that's how it's coming through, is this kind of stormy weather, stormy weather ahead. And there is this dove here as well. Yeah, things aren't going to be plain sailing. Like, you know, you've got to kind of balance things up within yourself. It's like, if you want that that chariot to move forward, if you want that car to keep going, you've got to kind of like, you know, make sure that you're not driving it into the ground, so to speak. You know, you've got to kind of look after it. You've got to like take care of the engine, and you know, all that sort of thing is what's coming through here. Take care of the engine, because otherwise it could just seize up at any moment. So it's kind of saying to me, like, you know, there is a warning here of just don't try and rush ahead just because you're in a situation where you are fired up about something. I'm going to pull some more cards to see what comes out on that chariot. Yeah, it's like bumpy road ahead is what's coming through. There's a bumpy road ahead. Don't expect it to just be an easy ride from here on in. There is going to be ups and downs. There's going to be twists and turns. There's going to be storms. There's going to be, you know, sunny days as well. But just, it's about taking the rough with the smooth is what I'm getting coming through more than anything else. Taking the rough with the smooth and just like allowing yourself to, possibly just allowing yourself to enjoy it all as well, to kind of, you know, accept that this is what you wanted, this is what you've been looking for. You've been looking for and hoping and wanting to experience it all. But it's not just going to be a simple ride. It's not just going to be like, you know, you get in and you just, there's no problems. It's like, yeah, you've got to kind of be prepared that you know, standing on your own 2 feet, crossing that bridge, standing on your own 2 feet is going to bring with it its own problems, its own issues, its own like decisions that you're going to have to make for yourself. Particularly if you've had a life that's, you know, where it's been very kind of, everything's been decided for you and things have not been difficult up to now. It's how it feels. But if you're going to break free, you know, you have to expect to. But I also feel with the Ace of Chalices there as well that you're going to kind of enjoy that. It's like you're going to enjoy all of it, even the rough and as well as the smooth parts of your life. It's like you are in the driving seat. Although it may take a while for you to get used to it as well. Gemini, again, that may be another thing that's not so easy to come to terms with. So let's see what the Abraham Hicks cards would like to say to you. If you don't know who Abraham Hicks is, there's lots of information online. Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, Jerry Hicks. Abraham Hicks is a energy that is channeled through Esther Hicks. Been around for quite a few years now. Most people have heard of them and heard of the channels. There was channels on YouTube. I don't know if they're still there, but there was at one time. But you can go online and look up Abraham Hicks. Heard of the law of attraction was what I was going to say. So I am in the perfect position to get there from here, which is a very apt card. So nothing has to change in your environment or in the circumstances that surround you for you to begin to deliberately allow your own connection to the stream of well-being, which is what I feel this is, this stream of well-being, this happiness, this joy. You are in the perfect place right now to begin. So literally this little boat, you see this kind of boat is travelling across the water. It's kind of saying, like, you know, from getting from here to there, you are in the perfect position to do so now. Now is the right time. So I'm going to pull you a card from the crystal Deva deck, Gemini, to see which crystal may be best for you to work with at this time, which crystal may benefit you the most, you may want to get for yourself if you don't already have one. So a crystal please for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, rising energy of Gemini. Crystal for Gemini please. A crystal for Gemini. I also feel with this Four of Coins energy as well that this person, which came out twice, the Four of Coins, Four of Pentacles, that they do not find it easy to let go of anything. So if you're wondering about, like, still having a connection here, Gemini, because you're moving away from that kind of family dynamic, I feel that you will still have a connection. It may take a while, and that may be also what the Chariot is saying here as well, that it's not going to be a smooth, easy ride. But ultimately, this person still, they find it difficult to let go. So they're not going to give it up easily. And we have Apophyllite, which is gentleness. Green chakra, number 4, gentleness, heart energy. It kind of fits in with this, what I was talking about here as well, because this is all very, very green. And I do feel as though this is about that loving space, coming from that loving energy. And kind of, you know, expressing who you are in a loving way. And maybe reassuring the people that are involved here as well, parents or family, whoever, that, you know, you're not leaving them. That's not the intention. It's not about leaving them, forgetting them. This is about you having to do what you have to do in your own life here. So Apophyllite, gentleness, chakra is the heart and the colour is light green. It says an act of gentleness is a bold statement of love. It is a sign that you are able to move beyond concerns of vulnerability or rejection to open your heart to another in kindness. Why is gentleness so often misunderstood? Many humans are reluctant to be gentle because they equate gentleness with weakness. Experience may have taught them that if they do not have a tough, hard exterior, others will take advantage of them. Your concerns have merit. Your world has become a cruel place. There are those who do not respect a gentle soul. What should you do if you are faced with their contempt? We suggest be who you are. You are not the stereotypic tough guy of your movies. You are a gentle angel with your feet planted upon Mother Earth. If you have lost touch with this part of yourself, you can reclaim it. It is not gone, only lying dormant. We work with the heart chakra to help you get reacquainted with the gentle self you may have felt you needed to suppress. Touch into your gentleness by putting our card or a piece of light green apophyllite against your heart. Feel the waves of gentleness sweep over your being as you allow this sweet sensation to wash over you. You feel all tension and stress disappear. All the energy you have been using to protect yourself can now be used for another purpose. How can you become a gentle person? Oh, sorry, I read this bit. If some people abuse you for your gentleness, there are so many more who will love you for it. Your world needs gentling. Think of how good it feels when a kind friend, touches you gently. It is just as soothing to have your spirit caressed in the same way. You have a saying, if not me, who? If not now, when? Are you willing to dedicate yourself to creating a gentler, loving world? Without gentleness, humankind is doomed. If there are survivors in a world without gentleness, would you want to be one of them? We do not mean to frighten you, but you must be educated as to the importance of this vibration of kindness and love to your continued existence. You have chosen our card today because gentleness calls to you. Its song is winding its way into your heart, which is interesting as well, because that card there, the bird sings the most beautiful song. The nightingale is known for its voice, and also, like, you can see it coming out here, this gramophone. Again, there's something here about expressing that love, that kindness. Maybe song, maybe some of you are singers, I don't know, but there's something here that needs to be expressed in a gentle, kind way. Where were we? Sorry about that. You may hope to shed your fearful protective garments in favour of a relaxed, gentle self. You may feel a need to be gentler with yourself or others. Perhaps you are in a relationship, personal or professional, where you are suffering abuse of some kind. Your selection of this card indicates your decision to honour yourself by making whatever changes are necessary to live a life full of love, respect and joy. Right, I'm going to leave it there and say thank you very much for watching my video, Gemini. I hope that you have got something from it. If you have got anything from it, if you've learned anything from it, if it has helped you in any way, please could you thumbs it up for me. Please also subscribe to my channel. It really does help. There's a subscription button on the video itself, or it will be down below where the description part is. Please also share the video if you think you know of anybody who may benefit from it as well. Thank you very much to those of you who have liked my videos. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed, and when you do subscribe, there will open up a little bell which you can tap if you want to get my videos as and when I put them out. Also, there is a playlist. My videos don't have any dates on them because things happen, situations happen all the time to people, so anything can fit at any time, basically. There is no kind of like definite, yes, this is when it happens and blah, 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 blah. So just go and check out Gemini, the other videos on my playlist as well. I do all the full moon, all the new moons, both the astrology and the tarot for those, and all the zodiac signs as well. I have been away for about 3 months because I had a major transit with Saturn, transiting or squaring my Mars and my Mercury, so everything just kind of shut down. And rather than kind of battle my way through it and kind of fight and struggle it, I just thought, right, I'm just going to take a back step and just let it be what it is. So now that's moved on, I'm actually able to kind of get myself motivated again and doing, so I'm going to be putting them all out there. So I apologise for not having been here for those 3 months. Everything just stopped. So yes, I am back to do all of the videos. As I said, I've just done the Taurus video, so if you are at the cusp side of Taurus, check that out as well, and remember to check out your moon, your Venus and your rising. And so again, please take really good care of yourself, Gemini, and take good care of anybody else around you at this time as well. And thank you very much for listening. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.